Hi, it's Paul from Celtic Cooks back again. This is step number 2 in making our straightforward 2-tiered cake that anybody can put together. So it's for Mummy Page's mothers. So this stage is going to be, we're going to cover a board. Now, if you're covering a cake and covering the board, you can do it all in one go, so you can have your cake on it, you can cover the cake down and tuck it down onto the board. Now, it's handier done that way, but it's a little bit more difficult when it comes to actually cutting the cake. So what we're going to do is cover our board first, then we'll cover our cake and set it onto the board. I also want to use textured sheets like this, and it basically gives a print onto the fondant when it's rolled out. So this is piping gel I have here, and what we're going to do with this is it's an adhesive basically. So we're going to just lightly coat it onto the board with a brush. Now these kind of brushes you can pick up in any sort of art and hobby shop or anything like that, but always give them a good sterilising before you actually go to use them for food purposes. So just a light coating of the piping gel around. Now this is very sticky stuff, so if you do get it in your hands, always wash your hands afterwards. You can also use buttercream or you can use jam at this stage. So we'll just move that out of the way. So we have our board coated with the piping gel. Now what we're going to do is clean off the table, and we'll get a small piece of the ready to roll fondant. I'm just going to use ivory for this cake. So this is a little sack I use for corn flour. A lot of people would use icing sugar. I use corn flour because I find I always have hot hands. Icing sugar can become very sticky. So you can dab the counter with it. Just puts a light coating of the corn flour on, a little bit over the fondant, and I always just put it on my hands just to sort of cool them down slightly. So we're just going to knead the fondant here. We have a bit of a wobbly table, but we'll get past that. Now, always just give your icing a bit of a kneading first. It softens it up and it just makes it easier for rolling out. So we'll just start rolling this out now. Just keep turning it around, but don't ever flip it over because you'll end up, I'm sure you can see there, you have lines and that in it. So it's best to always keep it the side you were using it. Just going to set that out of the way. And again, if you need to, a little dusting of the corn flour down and over it again, just to stop the rolling pin from sticking to it. Again, it's quite warm in here today, so if it is ever a warm climate somewhere, you'll find it a little bit harder just to work with the fondant. Now just roughly roll it out. Make sure it's going to cover our board. And we can always just use our rolling pin as a quick measurement. Just needs to come another little bit. Now, we'll roll it back up onto the rolling pin at this stage. It just means it's easier to lift. And then back up over the board again. And just give it a wee light rolling on the board. Now we're going to use one of our texture sheets here. So we'll just pick a nice floral design. And the way this works now is you can do it two ways. You can use the rolling pin over the top of it, but I'm just going to smooth it over with my hand and it'll give the print of the floral on it. So just be quite harsh with it. Make sure the print gets in all of it. Peel that off. We'll just try and match it up. And remember that the cake is going to be covering most of this here, but it's just to give it the effect. pass our design on, and then just like you would with an apple tart, just go around the board with a sharp knife and just trim off any of the excess fondant. Aye, there we have our board, the texture on it, and that's ready for the cake now to go on top of, and we can bring you through then to step number 3.